Good afternoon. We're here now with Daniel Franks, Program Manager of ACP-EU Development Minerals Program. And I want to present myself too. I'm Silvia Flores. I'm part of the Young Leaders Group. I come from Peru. My expertise is in international trade and agricultural value chain. So now I have to ask 4 important questions to our guest. One of them is, when we read about mining in the media, it is most often associated with environmental problems, corruption, and conflict. How is your program trying to address these challenges?
Well, thank you. It's very nice to be here at the EDDs. As Silvia mentioned, our program is called the Development Minerals Program, and we are focused on commodities that are not the typical commodities when people think about mining and materials and metals. So mining is generally associated with a lot of environmental challenges, a lot of social challenges, conflict, corruption. So the stories that are told about mining in the media, in newspapers, are often negative stories. The program that we're working on is focused on commodities that aren't metals, that aren't the commodities that are exported, that are usually mined by multinational mining companies. We're talking about the local materials and the local minerals that are mined by local communities and used for local development. So here we're talking about sand, we're talking about gravel, we're talking about dimension stones like granite, slate, and these are the commodities that are used to build houses, to build roads, to build bridges, and they're commodities that are domestically mined for domestic use. So our program is a capacity building program. It's funded by the European Union, it's funded by United Nations Development Program, but it's really an initiative of the African, Caribbean and Pacific group of states. And our goal is to work with 40 countries of the ACP to improve the sustainable development outcomes from the mining of these development minerals.
Thank you. What are the development minerals and why do they matter for the SDGs?
Yeah, so the term development minerals, when people talk about the commodities that we're focused on, they usually call them low-value minerals and materials. And the term low-value minerals and materials has this kind of connotation that they're really low value, when from a development perspective, they're really very high value. They're high value for local economies. They're high value providing livelihoods for millions of people. Most of the people that mine these commodities are small-scale miners. In fact, around 40% of the people that are involved in mining of these commodities are women. So they actually have a really important development value. They have an important economic value. So we started to use the term development minerals, and these are minerals and materials that are mined, processed, used domestically, and are important for domestic development.
So tomorrow you announce a partnership with the African Guarantee Fund to provide accessible finance to the SMEs. What is the partnership about?
So one of the big challenges of working with small-scale miners of these commodities is that they don't have access to finance. Many of these commodities aren't regulated under the Mining Act, they're regulated under Quarry Acts, and oftentimes, in fact, there isn't a legislative or regulatory framework that allows these small-scale miners to operate legally and to operate successfully, efficiently, effectively. So most of the small-scale miners have challenge accessing affordable finance and therefore can't grow their business, can't sell their commodities down the value chain, can't be efficient and productive. So we're working with the Africa Guarantee Fund, which is an initiative of a number of development agencies from Europe and the African Development Bank to provide finance to small and medium enterprises. So the ACP-EU Development Minerals Program tomorrow will announce 12 million US dollars funding for small-scale mining and processing companies of development minerals. And it's a really exciting partnership, and we hope it'll improve access to finance for the many millions of small-scale miners that operate in this space.
Then I have one last question. But before, I just want to know, because we were talking backstage, and in Peru we also have illegal mining things. I know that they're not the focus of your main topic. But the fourth question is like people are key to reaching the SDGs. So how can regular people, especially young people, make an active contribution to the Agenda 2030? I'm asking you because, for example, I don't work in the mining sector in my country, but I would be like really interested in know like how I could be involved to help also.
Right, okay, that's a good question. Look, what I'd say is that the commodities that we're dealing with, people don't think about them. Yeah, it's a neglected sector, a very neglected sector. And I'll give you an example. So every morning we wake up and we brush our teeth. We should brush our teeth, right? But hardly anyone would know that toothpaste is made from limestone. And that limestone is ground up and it's processed, and these minerals are really part of our everyday lives, and we don't really realize it. So I guess in our area, it'd be, what we could do as a society is to get more in touch with the minerals, the materials, the commodities that are making up our lives, and think about the supply chain and how those commodities are being produced and the circumstances they're being produced by. And I think in the agricultural sector, we've sort of seen a bit more of that lately. We've seen people get in touch with slow food production, go see how agricultural products are produced, but we don't do it with minerals and materials. We hardly know how everything is made that makes up our lives. So I think engaging in the material of our life and understanding that developed minerals matter for the SDGs is a good way for us to get more involved.
And for example, to the young people, are you making like a special program in the ACP, where in the countries where you're working with, like to involve them? Because normally, I mean, you care about the sector, about the socioeconomic sector of your country and how is it going, but you don't know normally because they are not on the news neither. Like how is, or what are the main issues inside like all the value chain channel of the mining sector?
Right. So we do work very closely with the small-scale miners who are beneficiaries of our program. And the interesting thing about that group of people is that the majority of them are youth and women. And that is just naturally the case for the mining of these commodities, that so many young people and so many women are involved. So I guess our engagement with that demographic is the people that are the heart of our program is very close, and our goal is to try and support them, to empower them to build their own businesses, build their own lives, and we're just there as a means to help them to do that.
Okay. Well, thank you. Do you have something else?
No,
maybe you can invite everyone for your panel tomorrow.
Yes, okay. So tomorrow we'll be having a high-level panel in A3 at 11 a.m. The high-level panel includes Jeffrey Sachs, it includes Mohammed Yunus, it's on small business, giant players in the SDGs. And we'll be talking about the development mineral sector, and we'll be hearing from also a video of 4 female small-scale miners that are building their business and sharing with us what they think they need to support them to succeed. So it'll be a great panel tomorrow, 11 a.m. till 12:30, a whole range of different speakers, and we welcome you to come along.
Thank you so much, Daniel.
Thank you.